I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. One of his advocacy, helping entrepreneurs and their teams to go from struggling to success by optimizing their mindset, vision, and plan to grow themselves and their business. No other than Mr. Steve Thompson.
Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Mr. Steve, and welcome on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on. It's a great pleasure to be here. A little bit about myself. Originally, my career was I was a physical therapist for 30 years, and I had my own business for 22 years. And I loved the idea of helping people overcome injuries or problems that have been nagging them for years. And that was the highlight of my career. And I just felt like it wasn't enough. And so, in running a business, the great thing that I love to do was to be able to help young people, young professionals, young physical therapists grow within their profession and to get better and to realize that, wow, this is such a great career. And owning my business for a while, it's like, this is fun, but it's a very kind of limited scope. So I sold my business in 2021. And prior to that, I started to get into coaching, where I would help other business owners go from a struggling point of view, either as a solopreneur or they had an established business that was not really working very well. And I just absolutely loved seeing them grow their business and realize the life that they want to live and where they were doing the things that they wanted to do without any hesitation, fear. They had their businesses running like a well-oiled machine. And I thought, this is really what I want to do. So when I left my business, I opened my own business in 2021. And here today, I'm a executive coach and a growth coach for entrepreneurs and their leadership teams.
And Mr. Steve, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about exploring and expanding entrepreneurial mindset. So, tell us, how do you define an entrepreneurial mindset for someone who doesn't necessarily want to start a company? Where
Hmm.
are its fundamental components?
I think one of my favorite books was Mindset by Carol Dweck, and that talks about fixed mindsets and growth mindsets. And for me, I just thought there was something more. And when I originally started off coaching entrepreneurs, one of the things that we would do was help them implement systems within marketing or finance or any part of their business. And generally, they would have success to a point. And what I always found we ran up against was how their mind worked and what they thought about things. That if they had a limiting mindset, that was always the barrier. So that, after reading Carol Dweck's book, got me really curious as to what what goes through an entrepreneur's mind. And I've started to really find that there's kind of five levels of positive mindsets and five levels of negative mindsets. um the positive mindsets is and these are kind of in a way like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is that you have to accomplish each one before you can sort of advance to the next higher level. And I'll explain the five, which I've labeled them as an ownership mindset, which once you gain ownership of your business and you really claim that business, is that's when you are able to grow. So there's the growth mindset is the second one. Then there's a strategic mindset, because as they start to grow, they need to figure out how to grow. After they start to grow, they realize that I'm going to really take my time and invest in my team and create a bigger impact. And then finally, kind of with myself, is there's a legacy mindset that you have to have is like, how am I going to pass this on to the next generation? And how am I going to leave my mark in my profession? So that's what have seen entrepreneurs sort of climb through as they get from a struggling point of view to that end success. I've also seen entrepreneurs go the opposite direction when they take the first negative mindset, which is sort of a victim mindset. Like in an industry like say healthcare is things are happening to me. It's out of my control. I can't do anything about it. It's almost like a little bit of a helplessness. If they stay in that realm, then they will sort of devolve into a more permanent fixed mindset where it is what it is, we can change it. From there, they will further devolve into more of a like an ego-driven or a firefighter's mindset where they will start to want to put out fires and they actually kind of crave them because it gives them purpose. As they keep going into that, they get into a scarcity
Yes.
mindset. And then ultimately, it's an entitlement that I'm due something. And at that point, you're really sort of down a hole that it's hard to recover from.
Mr. Steve, beyond traits like risk taking, what are some of the less obvious but equally important attitudes such as curiosity or resourcefulness that define this mindset?
I think, curiosity is probably one of the most important ones. I believe also the willingness to take a chance, that involves trust. And you can't have trust in your business nor your team, or you can't grow if you don't have trust. So trust is a trait or a mindset that is incredibly important to have, especially as you get up into the team and impact. One of the things that I see in the ownership mindset that many entrepreneurs lack is that ability to say, you know what, I own my results. I own this business. I own my efforts. And I actually hear a lot of entrepreneurs saying that they want their team to have an ownership mindset. So they're kind of asking an employee to be with an owner's mindset, which doesn't always happen because they're not owning it themselves. So I think that it's committing, it's having a belief in yourself, it's having a desire to grow too. I think a lot of those are the traits that are necessary to have that entrepreneurial mindset.
Mr. Steve, what are some daily or weekly practices individuals can adopt to begin rewiring their thinking toward more entrepreneurial approach?
It's a great question. I think one of the most important habits to start is meditation, is learning to get a control of your breathing, which is the basis of most meditations, but also get control of or the ability to manage your own thoughts. Um, Other habits I think that are critical are time management. It's also knowing what is your role in your duties in the business. If you don't have those controls or those clearly defined, you're going to start doing everything, which then traps you into the like a more negative mindset.
In a corporate or traditional job environment, what are practical ways an employee can exercise to expand their entrepreneurial muscles without overstepping?
hmm It's a great question. And I think one of the challenges with that is, one of the things that I work on is mindset first and then vision. And one of the things that I notice in corporate environments is often the role is not always clear. The responsibilities are not always clear, nor is the vision of the company clear, or maybe that they're aligned with. So starting with those three questions to get very, very clear are great ways to start to exercise the entrepreneur's mind by knowing what your role is and not stepping outside of that, knowing how you can succeed, which will allow you to measure your own progress. It will allow you to know what areas you need to work on for your own growth in that time. And for a motivation point of view, if you don't know the direction or mission or vision of a company, it will often be very demotivating for an employee. So I think that those factors are great things that any employee can do to take a little bit of control in their life.
Mr. Steve, what is the role of self awareness and understanding one's own strength and weakness in building resilient entrepreneurial mindset?
It's another great question. If you know your strengths, then you know where you can show up best.
Yes.
And if you can identify your weaknesses, one of the things that I work with is an assessment tool called the Working Genius. And what it identifies is what your geniuses are, which is your strengths, what are your competencies, and what are your frustrations. And what I love about this is that if you can understand what your frustrations are, maybe not so much weaknesses, but frustrations, it will often release a lot of guilt that you might have inside of you. Like, let's say someone that has the frustration of not being able to get things done. Well, their genius may be more in innovative thinking ways, but not so much in doing ways. And so if you can embrace your strength and then begin to get help and surround yourself with people who do what you are not as good at or you're frustrated by, that can certainly help you. And that is an entrepreneur's mindset, is putting the best resources possible to make the results happen.
To make the result or outcome will be successful for sure. So, what
Mhm.
are the most common mindset traps or limiting beliefs that prevent people from thinking, well, the business will come, the break from them?
One of the most common things that I see in entrepreneurs is, I'm the only one who can do this, or I'm the best one to do this.
Yes.
No one does it like me is often a trap that I will hear. Or another one is, I can't trust anybody to do it like I do it. That's, again, it's going to trap you in your own world where you won't ever give up anything. And so you'll end up doing everything. So those are my two,
Yes.
those are my favorite ones that I hear.
Yes, definitely. It's all about me, me, me. I will do it all.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they think, well, hey, I did it so far, but the trap is when the company gets bigger and you have more people, you can't do everything.
Yes.
So that entrepreneur often becomes the bottleneck in the company.
The fear of judgment or what the others will think can be paralyzing. How can aspiring entrepreneurs develop the courage to share their unconventional ideas?
That's a really good question. And I think what I find with that is there has to be a level of trust within the team. Trust doesn't come easy. Trust is slow to develop, but it's very fast to break. So
Yes.
developing things within the entrepreneurial team or the leadership team around them is developing that trust that you can put those ideas out there, creating a judgment-free zone where ideas aren't squashed, that all ideas are welcome, I think is another thing that can help entrepreneurs uh, overcome that me, me, me type of mentality. Vulnerability is another one. That's a scary thing, and I think that's kind of what we're talking about is, you know, seeing that it's okay to say, you know what, I'm not the best at doing this, but you are. Will you help me? And there's that saying that says, one man's garbage is another man's gold. So the things that maybe I don't like to do, someone on my team may love to do if I just stop holding on to it and thinking I have to do it all.
And Mr. Steve, how can we shift from a scarcity mindset to abundance mindset?
That's a great question. Oh, that's a tough one. Some of that is, I think, the scarcity mindset is what we've grown up with. Like our parents may have instilled some of that belief. But I think the ultimate way to realize this is that resources are abundant. Our thinking is abundant. Our creativity is abundant. So starting with ourselves, that we have the power and the ability to put ideas out there. I mean, entrepreneurs are ones who aren't often very self-limiting, but sometimes they can be. But having that ability to just put themselves out there is an incredible thing that can help them go from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. You know, there's always that phrase, the glass half full or the glass half empty, is what you tell yourself you'll believe. So if you believe that the glass is half full, you'll start to look at the world in a way where the glass is half full. So if you don't like the way that things, I think it's Tony Robbins said, if you don't like the way that things are happening in your life, just change your thinking. And so if you have a scarcity mindset and you think that things are scarce, look around and say, what is available to me? And that might be the starting question. What is possible? What is available to me? Versus what am I limited by? What am I not able to get? What is possible?
Mr. Steve, as entrepreneur as well as executive coach, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
For me, I would love to be connected with at least 12 leadership groups, 12 companies, entrepreneurs, and help them grow their businesses to realize their dreams. I want to be able to touch my long-term goals. I want to be able to touch 1 million lives in some way, either through the companies that the leaders that I work with, who then are able to help the people within their company, who are then able to help the people that they serve. So if I can do that, it's going to be a pretty good life, Daniel.
I love that, Mr. Steve. Pretty good life. And good luck to your
Mhm.
goals and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
I would just say start asking yourself the question, what do I want? That was the hardest question that I think I've ever had to answer. Part of it is, some background in the way that I grew up, but you know what? Start believing that you can have something. Whatever it is that you want, you can actually have it. You just have to put your mindset to it. So, the great thing about the human species is that whatever we think of, we can create. So, if you want something more out of life, tell yourself you can have it. Tell yourself you just got to go find it. That's a little bit of the abundance mindset. It's a little bit of the ownership mindset that you're in control of your life.
You are the captain of your soul, is it?
That's right. That is a great summation. That is a great summation. You are the
Th-
captain you are the author of your story. You are the captain of your ship. You get to
yes,
decide where it goes.
definitely. And thank you for the advice, Mr. Steve. And can
My
you please
pleasure.
recommend a book or books that influenced your journey?
Yeah, I'll recommend two. I think one was a book called Reboot by Jerry Colonna, and a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. Two phenomenal books to really understand yourself and to set yourself on a journey of growth and achieving the things that you want.
Empowering books, Mr. Steve, and thank you for that recommendation. And before we wrap up our discussion
Mhm.
for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract poetry in second season. I'm a book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season. I'm a food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season. And my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love letters in third season. And movie 101 review and music 101 in fourth season. And science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Steve, if someone feels they have been stuck in a fixed or employee mindset for decades, what is the most encouraging first step they can take to begin expanding their
Mm.
perspective?
I think the biggest thing is to raise their hand and say, I need help.
Yes.
And because sometimes we try to help ourselves, but we only know what's right in front of us. So that help could come in the form of a book, a mentor, a coach, a boss. It can come in many forms, but just raising your hand and saying, I want something more, I want something better.
Something more. For sure, I like that, Mr. Steve. And if you could leave our audience or viewers with one compelling reason why exploring and expanding their entrepreneurial mindset is a journey worth starting today, what would it be?
In nature, things are either growing or they're decaying or declining. So we get to choose which path we want to be on. So which path does anybody want to be on? I imagine it's the growth path. So I encourage everybody out there who's listening, I encourage everybody out there in this work world is just to say to yourself, I want more and I'm going to go find a way to get it.
Yes, I like the spirit. I want more.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah, and wanting more is not selfish. It's just I want to grow. I want to learn more. I want to, do more. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. It's how we grow, how we gain knowledge.
yes. I want more for abundance.
There you go.
Yes, Mr. Steve Thompson. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
Mm.
Empowering executives, entrepreneurs, and their teams to grow with purpose. Can you expound this phrase on your website?
Want me to expand it or explain it?
Yes,
Is
please.
I just love the way that I approach my coaching is everybody has the solutions within them. We just need to draw it out. So that's why I want to empower the executives and the entrepreneurs and their leadership teams to grow in the direction that they want to go. It's not my journey, it's their journey. I just get to help.
Yes, that the spirit, Mr. Steve. Let's help each other to grow. Yes, people, let's support Mr. Steve Thompson. Because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering coaching to come, more and more empowering business to come. So, Mr. Steve, please do invite our listeners or viewers to support you.
I would love to help anybody who has the inkling that there's something more in their life. And you can go to my website. You can go to the contact us. If you scroll down the first page, I will offer a free coaching session. because I want you to get the experience of what it's like. And so if you feel like there's something more in you, or you've been trying to grow but you're stuck, it might be time to raise your hand and say, I need a little help. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, don't be ashamed, people. Raise your hand.
That's right.
And Mr. Steve for sure will help you to the fullest. So, Mr. Steve, thank you so much for your time.
Daniel, thank you. It was a pleasure, and I really enjoyed being on this and sharing my thoughts and answering your wonderful questions.
More to come, people. See you soon.